Welcome back to Sports Ramble for the second season. Today we have Thomas the Tank Minshew, Nathan Big Boy Truitt, Joseph Frank Silik, myself Ramblin' Big D, and our host Corbin Rush.
What is going on, everybody? So we have a new permanent addition as well to the pod starting season 2, Nate Truitt. He is a college athlete. Nate, would you like to tell him what sports you did in college? I don't know. Do you play what he did? I don't know.
I did. So I was actually a water polo player in college.
So you do play water polo?
Swimming.
You do. You do play
it. Okay. I didn't know if it was like track. You don't really play track. You just kind of run it. But anyways, we've been away because college football has been away, but college football is coming back. And so we're coming back. Also, NFL is coming back. We're going to be talking about that too. But to start it off, I have some things that I'd like to say. College football season, I think, is there's something in the air this year, and I'm excited about it. I can't lie. So for the first time, well, you know what? Actually, let's slow down. Let's slow our roll here. I think there's something that we should hit on before we get anywhere else. Heisman favorites going into this season. I have 3 that I'd like to I think 3 that have a chance. They might be a little dark horse candidates, but I'm excited to see what they're going to do this season. But Dennis, do you have any thoughts about your Heisman? Do you want to give us your Heisman 3?
Heisman 3 or the Heisman 1, the one that's going to win it all?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I mean, you can give us your Heisman 1. It's going to be wrong, but you're more than welcome to.
Quarterback, formerly out of Arizona State University, now playing for the LSU Bayou Bengals. Jaden Daniels is the truth. He is the 2023 Heisman Trophy winner.
I disagree vehemently, and I think you're wrong. So my Heisman 3 would be, well, I'll save mine. Mine are solid. Mine are definitely going to be the 3 that are there in New York. But Nate, do you have any Heisman finalists that you'd like to throw any names out there? You think Caleb Williams is going to repeat?
I mean, it's hard to say, still early. I did like Jaden Daniels a lot as a pick, so I'll give Dennis that credit.
Let's go, baby.
But I do think there's a high possibility for Caleb Williams to make a run at it again.
I just can't stay on this podcast. I'm ready to quit now. Joe, do you have any? do you have any Heisman finalists?
We're kind of forgetting about Drake May.
Oh,
and what he did with that UNC offense.
I like that. Okay, Joe.
I mean, Caleb Williams is also going to be a favorite. I hate to break it to you, Corbin. He's going to be a favorite, but I don't like that guy that much. His character's not where I want it to be. But I think Drake May. I want Drake May.
I like it, Joe. I completely forgot about Drake May, if I'm being honest. So I'm glad you brought that up, Joe. That's a good pick. Chewy, who you got?
I think Caleb Williams has the best shot. I know he's favored right now at plus 500. I'm also going to throw Sam Hartman in there, and I'm going to throw Quinn Ewers in there as well.
Okay. Wow.
I like those two to be there possibly in New York.
One, I love that you brought the gambling stats out because I will absolutely be placing money on one of those people. And 2, I did not even think about Sam Hartman. Where did he transfer to? He transferred to
He's at Wake now.
Wake. Oh no, he stayed at Wake. I thought he transferred out.
He stayed at
I'm
Wake.
thinking of Devin Leary, who transferred 13, to Kentucky. Gotcha.
And you got Quinn Ewers at plus 1,600 from Texas.
I think Quinn Ewers has a chance. I'll give you. I got to be honest. The best player in college football, and if this position wasn't so underrated in the NFL draft, he would be the number 1 pick. And I'm kind of curious what you guys think about this, but I think my pick, because especially since this is the first time this college has not had. I mean, it's a big name, Kyle McCord at quarterback, but I think it's from the Ohio State University, as much as it pains me to say. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be the guy taking home the trophy this year out of New York. He is the best player in college football. NFL scouts, when they came to watch C.J. Stroud throw the ball for his pro day, didn't even watch the guy. They were watching Marvin Harrison Jr. One scout said that this is like going to the Ferrari dealership and looking at the car before you buy it. So that's how I feel about it. I think Joe Milton's going to be there, of course. Jaden Daniels, I think, is going to be there. I would love to see Quinn Ewers there because I want Texas to be good again. I think also what I say, Joe Milton, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jaden Daniels, Quinn Ewers, and I think Caleb Williams is probably going to be on that list. Just in that Lincoln Riley offense and how good he is, he's going to be the number 1 pick coming out next year. So I think Caleb Williams is going to probably end up being there in New York. But is there anything anybody else wants to say about Heisman picks before we?
I can give my actual 3 instead of just.
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree with Joe. I think Drake May is going to finish 3rd in voting. You're going to see big things out of UNC this year, and we'll probably get into that here shortly. But I think Drake May, you're going to see some things out of Chapel Hill this year. That Carolina blue is going to be real familiar. And then obviously, I got my number 1 pick, Jaden Daniels. I bleed purple, as I should. But realistically, the best player in the country, you got to remember it's a quarterback award, right? So Jaden Daniels, I think, will end up winning.
Devontae Smith won 2 years ago.
I'm just saying, generally speaking, it's been a quarterback award, the last, 2 decades?
Yeah.
With the exception of a few, Derrick Henry's in there, Mark Ingram's in there. But I will say, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best athlete in the country, the best ball player in the country. Like I said in season 1, I love how we're calling it season 1, by the way. Like I said in season 1, he would be a top 5 receiver in the NFL if he was playing in the NFL last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's that good. He is that good. I hate Ohio State as much as any program in the country.
Same here, brother. I hate him.
I watch Ohio State football to see that man catch the ball and to see that man run his routes. He's something special.
And like I said, he should be the number 1 pick in the draft. If wide receiver wasn't as undervalued in the draft, because it's just not a value position to draft early. But I mean, seeing what Jamar Chase has done, honestly, I think it's worth a shot. But you also had Joey Burr back there. But anyways, that's besides the point. We're getting off in the weeds there. But so does anybody else have any other picks they'd like to talk about going to New York?
It's too early in the season.
Too early in the season. I love too early takes, man. I just love too early hot.
I think Caleb Williams misses out.
You think he misses out?
I think UCLA and Oregon and Utah, they're going to run into some problems out there out west.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Dennis, because let's segue into what the college football landscape is looking like in this fall. And right now, this is going to be the best. You heard it here first or second. I don't know. Someone else might have said it as well, but this is going to be the best college football season within the last 15 years, in my opinion.
It might be the best of all.
But it's also going to be the most forgotten football season of all time.
How is it going to be forgotten, Joey?
Because next year we go to a whole different playoff format and no one's going to care about the season before we changed. That's all I'm saying.
I just hate the negativity you just
No, I think that's completely wrong. This is going to be the best college football season possibly of all time.
It's going to be incredible. And let me tell you why. Joe, the hater of the group. Because for the first time in 15 years, it's not a 2-team scene. Alabama and Georgia have had a stranglehold. It's really the top 3 SEC teams have had a stranglehold on college football for the last 15 years. Alabama and Georgia, really the last 10 years, it's been Alabama, LSU, and Georgia fighting for national championships, and the Ohio State and Clemson have snuck in there every once in a while. For the first time, Alabama is not having a generational talent, all over the field. Georgia just lost 12 out of 11 starters on their defense, something crazy like that. Just an absurd amount of players that went early.
They all go to the Eagles.
Yeah, I think the Eagles drafted at least.
They did. Philadelphia Bulldogs, baby.
Nate is going to have something to say about that very soon. But I'm just saying, Alabama, they don't even have a quarterback right now. They don't even know who's going to be running that offense. And college football is not a landscape where you can't have a quarterback right now. It is led by high-powered offenses. So Georgia, they've been getting by with defense, but give them credit where credit's due. Stetson Bennett played excellent at the quarterback position. So right now the SEC is wide open. Guess who's good again? Florida State's good again. The ACC isn't going to be run by Clemson. The Big 12, guess who's good again? I think Texas is going to be good again. The Pac-10, USC is back. USC is going to be good again, which is great for college football. All these teams, and Michigan's beat Ohio State for the last 2 years. And when Ohio State runs the Big 10, it's just not as much fun to watch. So there is so much good going on in college football this year because we're not going in knowing who the two teams at the end are going to be. There is so much room for parity.
You are missing so many big players right now, Corbin.
Who am I missing?
You are missing. Let's start out west with the Pac-12. What team is favored out there? It's probably USC, right?
Yeah.
Without me looking at the odds. You telling me they're not going to struggle against Oregon, Stanford, UCLA? You telling me they're not going to struggle in that conference?
No, they're going to struggle, but it's going to be. I think USC comes out of there. I think USC's
Utah
favorite.
They can't beat Utah. Caleb Williams can't play football against Utah.
No. That was Lincoln Riley's first year. He didn't even have an offense. He didn't have the size on the offensive line. Now he's had 2 years to get his recruits in and to get his transfers in. He's one of the most successful coaches in college football in recent memory, and now he has 2 years with the most money, the biggest name in college football. Let's not pretend like USC isn't one of the biggest names in college football. What
happened in Oklahoma? He did great, right? But what couldn't he ever do?
Because you can't recruit the defense in the Big 12. You can't recruit that kind of defense that it takes to win a championship out of the Big 12. There's no way. Defensive players don't go there. They go to the SEC. They go to the Big 10. They don't go out to Big 12. They don't go to Pac-10 or Pac-12, whatever it is now. I don't know. Teams are leaving left and right. I don't know what it is anymore.
Let's move across the country. You said Texas going to run the Big 12. And this is why I'm so excited about the season. That's why I'm so passionate about this. K-State. You don't think TCU is going to win a game or two? Baylor's a good team.
TCU was a victim of the moment. They had one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and they had one of the best receivers in the country.
That's not what I'm arguing. I'm saying you don't think they're going to cause some problems for some people?
They'll win a game.
But they'll win a big game.
One big game. I'll give them one big game.
That's what I'm saying. All you need to do is cause some upsets.
All right, Dennis, we're making a 2-man show right now. All right, somebody else, give me some fire.
Someone get after the Big Ten.
The Big Ten. How about this? Michigan, Harbaugh got suspended for 4 games, I think.
It won't matter. But yeah.
It won't matter.
It might. They don't play a conference. I think they play one conference game in those 4 games or something like that. It's like maybe like Rutgers or something. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But
what's Rutgers going to do?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But they're not really playing any big games in those 4 games. But that might disrupt the rest of their season. They might not get a slow start with him in the locker room and everything. It'll be interesting to see because Michigan's kind of dominated the Big Ten.
Oh, you know what? You know who I forgot when we were talking about Heisman candidates? Blake Money Corum, baby.
Yeah. Blake Corum should be there as well.
He can carry them through those first 4 weeks out of conference.
I need to see some improvement from JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, that's it. But also, let's go back to the Big Ten. Let's go back to the Big Ten and just stay there. Ohio State and Michigan have consistently ran the Big Ten. Let's be real. Ohio State took 2 losses to Michigan. They're not going to take it lying down. I think they're coming back with some vengeance this season, and I think this is going to be an opportunity for them to do so. But I just don't know what's going to happen in the Big Ten. And then moving out west, like Dennis was saying, it's just everyone's kind of always known the West is kind of shit, and what are you going to do about it? But lately, USC, like Dennis said, Utah, Oregon even coming out of the woodwork again.
Washington.
Exactly. Washington.
Michael Penix might be a dark horse Heisman candidate.
That's what I'm saying.
And Corbin, I think you're a complete idiot for thinking Texas has a chance this year in the freaking Big 12.
Texas was winning the Big 12 by a margin. I think they run through. I think they go undefeated in conference play. I'm saying that right now. They're returning 10 of 11 starters. Quinn Ewers was hailed as the greatest recruit in high school football history coming out. You can't tell me that Texas isn't going to be a dominant factor in the Big 12. There's no way.
Dominate, but I don't see them going undefeated.
And they're not going to run away with it.
Oklahoma's down right now. I need to see Brett Venables get back.
What about K-State?
K-State has a chance, but they're just not as talented as Texas. There's just not as much talent in K-State as there is at Texas.
What about Baylor?
Last year there was.
Baylor always disappoints. Baylor plays good for the first 6 games, and then they always fall off at the end of the season. Every year. TCU was a one-off. The who?
The Jayhawks.
Oh, Kansas? No. Isn't the quarterback at Kansas Jaden Daniels too? I'm pretty sure he has the same name as the LSU quarterback. Nate, you've been awful quiet over there in your throne of meat. What are you? What are you?
Good throwing of meat.
What are you thinking over there, bud?
I mean, a lot of the things that
look at
I'd be saying are just, are already being said. Like, I have to agree. It's hard to say with the West. It's gonna be in the West. It'll be a shootout. Because those teams like it's very up and down every year. I do give Oregon a lot of credit. I have to give Utah a lot of credit. I have to give USC a lot of credit. With Caleb Williams winning the Heisman and everything. I think it's just gonna be a dogfight. And realistically, it's probably a very base take, but I see USC coming out on top. It's just how I see it, just how I think it's going to be favored that way. In terms of with Texas and everything, I don't know if I'd agree with you that that Texas is gonna. I don't think Texas is.
Y'all are all gonna eat crow.
Texas
Y'all
is
are all
not
gonna eat
him,
crow.
bro.
Bring me my money. When
many times
Texas
have
beats
I eaten
Alabama
crow
week
on this
2,
podcast?
bring me my
How
money.
many times have I
Oregon.
worked on this podcast? I can't count that.
That's
Texas
blasphemy.
beats Alabama
Texas is not
by
beating
10
Alabama week 2.
Texas
There's
beats
no way
Alabama
in
by 2
hell.
week 10. By 10
No, actually,
week 2.
I take that. I'll take that. I like
Okay.
that.
So I'll give you
I like that.
spread plus 10.
No.
Texas plus
Gamble
10.
responsibly, kids.
No.
I'll put 10 on it right now. Put 10 on it right now.
The potty promise.
A potty promise. Season 2 brings back the potty promise. Nate, real quick before we get any further, can we just get a flex
Sure.
real quick? Can we get a flex real quick? I just want to see the arms. Oh my goodness, the silverback gorilla back in action. Our bodyguard when we go out in public. All right,
Let's
so
pivot.
let's pivot.
Let's pivot to the ACC, where you only gave credit to Florida State and to Clemson.
Wake Forest is good. I was just hinting on the teams that are when they are good. College football is better. When Florida State is
going
good,
6-6. Clemson will go 500. They're
oh,
no. Clemson's going 500.
that is
All right, that's a bet
high.
right there.
No, they're
That
not,
is
they're not
high.
pulling it off.
That is
That's a
high.
bet
They're not
right there.
pulling it off.
Oh my lord, that is high.
Write down.
Write it
what you
down.
just said there.
Write that down. Write that down.
I'll
Write that down.
I'll write it down right now.
All right,
Clemson
write it down. I
goes
want to see it in
500.
your notes. Hey, no, Joe and Chewy, y'all make a little potty promise.
I guarantee you, Clemson wins more than
Give
half their games.
No. Give him a number. Give him a number, Joe. Give him a number, Joe. Take him at
Win
6-6. Take him at 6-6. Take him at 6-6.
Yeah. If they go if they have 6.5 wins, that's the line.
Over
6.5 wins.
Over 6.5.
Clemson 6-6. 500.
All right, put some money on it.
Some money.
$5. $5.
$5.
Right now.
You
Five
cheap
Potty
bucks.
promise.
bastards.
It's stamped.
All right, Nate, watch
What?
it. Okay, watch it.
Hey, language.
Language.
Now
Actually
let's.
didn't say anything
the
bad.
ACC
He just said we're cheap.
The ACC's too hot right now.
What did I just get finished talking about? What are we going to be seeing a lot of this year on Sports
Parody.
Center?
Parody.
UNC.
A lot of Carolina blue is what we're going to see. UNC is a threat. What's that face for?
Dude, do you really think UNC is going to be better than Clemson and Florida State?
Yes.
Come on.
I
And
do,
Wake
but I
Forest.
still think Clemson's
Dude,
gonna win more games.
and NC State. Like, honestly, we've
Yeah.
been giving crap to the ACC. Now the ACC is a relevant conference again. It's been a one-man show for the last,
For
5 years? 10
10
years?
But they're
Yeah,
not. They're still
Clemson's-
not as relevant as the Pac-12. I don't think. I think the Pac-12
No.
moved past them
Yeah,
as
yeah.
relevance.
Yeah, honestly, that's why I'm saying this is just such a great year. It brings me so much joy. There's something inside me that just makes me happy talking about college football this year. But
forget
to get
about-
back. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Dennis, continue on with your ACC talk about UNC.
Now the
That's not
two-
going to be that good.
We got pretty much 5 Virginia boys here. Maybe one
I'm from
Pennsylvania boy.
Memphis.
You lived in Virginia a while.
I lived in Virginia less than I lived anywhere else.
And the Virginia schools are going to be terrible. Both of them. Just awful.
Will be beating them the first week of the season. Tennessee
Yeah.
versus
I hope
Virginia.
so, Corbin. I'll say I hope
by
so.
45. Joe Milton
God.
throws for 800 yards and 6 touchdowns.
We all know who
Right.
the real Virginia team is, but we don't even need to bring it up. Not even yet, because I want to get into this later. But we all know who it is.
And we'll get into it. Okay, but ACC, yeah, not worth it.
Then what about
the bottom of the ACC? Bottom of the ACC, just like the bottom of SEC and all that other ones. No enemies
U-
here. Miami's not going to be good. Mario Cristobal is a fraud. He's
Mario
a fraud.
Cristobal Mario Cristobal is going to do some things.
He's
You
a
just wait.
fraud.
You just wait. Mario
Nate, what are
Cristobal
you
is going
shaking your head for?
I'm just listening, bro.
Oh my gosh. This guy's like,
really,
this guy's like,
I
yeah,
don't have,
Mario-
I don't really have any
Get
thoughts
after it,
on.
get
I don't
after
have
it.
any thoughts on the U, man.
Nate's over here like, yeah, the U, Mario Cristobal is going
And
to be a
now-
guy.
And
no.
now something I
Fraud.
think Corbin will appreciate. We will pivot once more to the only conference that actually matters.
Amen,
The
brother.
Southeastern.
Amen. Bring it home. Bring it home.
The
Bring it home.
Southeastern Conference.
Where
And its
where is it?
final season of East and West
Where was football born, Dennis?
in the South, baby.
Who last 15 out of 20 championships, 15 out of 16 championships? Where's it come from?
The South. And actually, that number is way higher, buddy. It's 21 out of the last 25 come from the South.
Oh,
Not
I
just
mean,
from the
ooh,
SEC.
just where do the best recruits come from, Dennis? Besides that one state out in California, I think where were the top next 3 states? Where do the best recruits come from?
Corbin, they come from the South.
Oh man, Dennis. Oh
Wait.
man. Wait, what?
Corbin, what is the saying down there? It just means more.
It
It
just
means
means more. For some reason, we got 3, like you said, we got a Pennsylvania boy, we got 2 Virginia boys, and then you're a Virginia boy, but you lived SEC country, brother. What does it mean?
Bleed purple,
What does it
brother.
mean, Dennis? Tell
It
me what it
means-
means.
It means more, Corbin.
It just means more. All right, sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys.
Had
It's
to
just
get
you just have to understand. It just means more.
It just means
Yeah,
more.
you can't blame yourself. We didn't stop you. I mean,
Yeah.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It just means
This is where everybody just left. This is where all the viewers just exited the scene. Oh,
in the final year of East versus West, before nasty Texas and Oklahoma invade our homeland. And it's never been better. I'll be honest with you.
it's never been. But this is going to be the greatest SEC season of
have-
all time.
I would argue 4 teams that have a legit shot. Like, you don't really know what a team's going to do until the season starts. But if you look at it on paper, I give 4 teams from each division in that conference a chance to make the playoff. Maybe that's a little high. I understand that.
definitely a little high.
Alabama, LSU, Ole Miss, Arkansas. If Arkansas, KJ Jefferson returns, they have one of the best running backs in the
Georgia?
SEC. That's SEC West. We're talking
That's the
West.
We're talking East.
If we're talking East, we got Georgia, we got Tennessee, we got.
you can say
Yeah.
Kentucky and Florida. You can say them now. You can't say them in probably about a month and a half. You won't be saying that anymore.
Yeah, Florida.
Yeah. You can say
was
Florida
that?
for probably about week 5, week 6.
But hey, listen, I think this year SEC championship. No, I'll wait. I get a little ahead of myself. Sorry, I get a little big from my britches. You know what I'm saying? We gotta calm down. So just scale it back. Dennis, continue on.
Yeah, everyone all over the country is good. It seems like there has been a balance brought to the great sport of college football. And I have never been more excited. Me and Corbin, we've been talking about this, 2-3 weeks now? Just
It's almost every day how excited we are. You know, we do have
Ripped up in anticipation.
we do have a residential bandwagoner here. He's
Oh,
one of
we
my
do.
favorites. He's been in Alabama, Georgia,
Clemson.
Ohio State, Clemson, and
No.
LSU
Don't even
fan
start with that
within-
Clemson bullshit.
within the last
1 out of
5
4, I
years.
guess, ain't bad.
And 1 out of Georgia, Alabama, and LSU fan for the last 5, and Ohio State for the last
LSU's only
4 years.
baseball, and they
So,
deserve it.
again, ladies and gentlemen, our residential bandwagon. Chewy, what do you know about Alabama football this year or Georgia football that you would like, because they're both your favorite teams? So,
Well, the biggest issue for Bama right now for me is the 3 quarterback question mark. They don't know what the hell they're going to do. And as you guys alluded to earlier, it's a high-powered offense, and you have to know who's running it. They don't. Their defense returns 5. Coyd McKinstry, that's probably the biggest name in their defense. That's a good one to retain.
his NIL deal has to be insane.
Yeah. In terms of Georgia, they reloaded on offense. They really didn't lose a whole lot on the line, so I'm not all too worried about that.
Don't tell me
Biggest name for them returning is Brock Bowers.
Gosh,
about it.
he's one of the best players. He's like number 2 in the country.
Um,
Gosh, darn it. I thought we had
Biggest-
Georgia this year. Easy.
Biggest thing with Georgia is they have an easy schedule. Or an easier schedule.
Which is ridiculous. College football,
I'm
NCAA
saying
needs to do something about this.
Georgia's biggest like contender right now is Tennessee, and that's what, third to last game of the year. Like Auburn might put up a fight, but I don't see
Auburn won't put up a fight.
Joe Milton, Ramel Keaton, Brew McCoy, Squirrel White, buddy. I'm just saying.
My thing too is Bama doesn't get it done and at least get to the playoff. I think Nick calls it quits.
You know what I love? I think Bama. You think Nick calls it quits? Whoa! I was gonna
I
skirt
wouldn't.
past that. Like what? Like you didn't just
He
say what you
he-
just said.
Nick's calling it. I think he calls it quits. He expects excellence. They haven't gotten it done.
I love
and
Alabama
frankly, if
not
you're
getting
gonna
it
do
done
it
is
with
going
Bryce
10-2.
Young,
Yeah.
who are you going to do it with?
That is fair. No, that's a fair point. I don't think Nick's done, though. I don't think Nick's done after this year if they don't get it done. I think he's still going to be around for, unfortunately, a long time. What I love, though, is I don't feel like any team is guaranteed to go undefeated in the SEC this year. Like the last 2 years, it's been like Alabama, or last 10 years, it's been like Alabama or Georgia. One of them's going to run the table and go undefeated. And just this year, it feels so open. I think Tennessee should be the favorite in the East. And I think LSU should be the favorite in the West. They're not. Georgia and Alabama are still both the favorites in the East and West, but I think that's ridiculous considering what Tennessee did last year and returning. I think we're returning 8 of 11 starters almost. Like
You're returning 5 on defense.
5 on defense, and the defense needed to be a little bit revamped anyways. So, Joe, what do you think about SEC football this year? You excited? Could you care less? I mean,
I really don't care until it gets closer to the playoffs. Obviously, we all know where my heart lies.
Look at
but
this
we'll get to
Sunbelt
that.
guy. Sunbelt guy. Nate,
You
you in this
Sunbelt guy.
Sunbelt guy. Nate, are you kind of in the same boat as Joe, or what are you thinking? You gotta have some opinion on the SEC. I know you watch. Don't lie to me. I know you watch a little bit of Big Orange. I know you watch a little bit of Big Purple on Saturdays.
I do. I mean, I'll admit. I mean, like Joe, I'm a big Sunbelt guy. I'm speaking like with the NCAA, still not giving us the waiver. To be bowl eligible, I think is just flat out wrong, considering we're supposed to be projected number 1.
All right, just win the East again. Who gives a shit?
We'll get into this in a minute. I really got a lot to say about this.
I mean, in terms of the SEC, I can't say I really have a favorite. There's no one I love to see how wide open it's gonna be, but and I'm sure we're probably getting into more predictions, but I am leaning heavily towards Georgia. And the reason I say that, not just because, the Philly Bulldogs, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of faith. Kirby Smart, I got a lot of faith in that team. Like whether they lost a ton of their defense, they lost Stetson Bennett, whatever. I think their team, I think the farm system that they get and the recruiting that they have, I see a lot of upside potential going into the season.
$50
Also,
right now,
Kirby
Nate.
Smart can get anyone to run through a wall.
$50 right now, Nate. Potty promise. Your first. Hey guys, pay attention. This is Nate's first potty promise. $50.
Body promise virginity.
$50. Tennessee wins. I'm just going
Tennessee,
straight up.
Tennessee, Georgia.
Straight up. Tennessee beats Georgia. $50.
And they play them when?
Like what? 3 week games.
It's third to the last game.
9. Game 9, maybe.
Hold on. I'll let you know.
I'll take the money. I'll take the bet.
It's
All right, bet.
November.
I'm down for a little
It's
wager.
the second to last game of the
Okay.
year.
It's not early. It's later in the season. I like it because that's when shit starts to stir. So
All right. I'm going to be padding my bank account with the $10 I win off Dennis and the $50 I win off Nate. So it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day.
What money are you making off of me?
Dude, did you already forget about our Texas Alabama 10
That was
10-point
me.
spread? Yeah, it was.
That was Minshew.
That was not me.
Yeah,
Minshew and I got that $5 bet.
Yeah,
That's
Dennis-
Joe and I got
no,
5 bucks.
Dennis,
I
it
didn't
was
think Alabama would lose.
No, you said that I said I have Texas by 10 and you were like, "I'll take that."
No, I'll take your take on that.
Well, that's disappointing.
We'll review the tapes.
the
Nate,
bet.
make it,
Tapes.
make
Yeah,
it,
run it back.
Nate, make it $60.
no,
Okay, fine.
I know you're broke, but no.
Hey,
Dang.
whoa.
He's
Not
broke
here.
because he's out here cooking steak
Hey,
with chimichurri.
Hey, whoa. Hey, that chimichurri was made by my Costa Rican roommate, okay? And he knows what's up, guys. If you have never put chimichurri on a steak, let me tell you something. That is immaculate. They do it. That's way south, and they do steaks good way down in the south. Anyways.
Are we ready to talk about the only group of 5 conference that matters?
Okay, Joe. Okay,
Just for a minute,
Nate.
there's
Okay,
only
Thomas.
one team. There's only one team in the Sun Belt that actually matters.
You know what? No, I actually find the Sun Belt very interesting because App State had a major upset over Texas A&M this past year. So,
And Coastal's always in the headlines. And
Coastal's
Marshall
good.
had a big upset over Notre Dame. Yeah, I get it.
okay.
But
Okay, Sun Belt boys, you take it away. The SBBs.
it's complete. I don't even know what word to say
wash.
since we're trying not. Yeah, exactly. Why are we not competing for the Sun Belt title or even anything? A bowl game. We can't even get like the I don't know, freaking something bowl. We
Cheez-It
can't even get
Bowl.
a. Yeah, I don't even. It's ridiculous. This is the second year we obviously proved ourselves. We basically won our conference, the entire conference, not just the East. Last season, I don't even care. I know we
Are
didn't.
y'all
play,
allowed
but
to
first
compete in
season.
the conference championship game?
Nope.
Wow. Okay.
Dominated the
not
would be
CAA.
able to.
We
We
almost
would be
weren't
able
allowed.
to. But like the Sun Belt says, like, why would you play in the conference championship game if you can't even go to a bowl game? So they took that away from us too.
So the NCAA says they can't play in a bowl game, and the Sun Belt told them they can't play in the conference championship game.
Correct.
Yes.
They mad.
Wow. Man, it sucks when you're too good.
But here's the thing. As
Wouldn't know
a
what that's
player,
like.
what needs to fuel you more to go in and just absolutely kick everybody's ass?
Well, like also if you're a senior, what's the motivation?
I mean, fair, but you
That's
sat
a
on
good
the
point, Joe.
sideline for 3 years. Why would you not?
It
And we
was
have
just
we
like a
have
bunch of
fresh team,
scrimmages.
too. Like we lost a lot of guys, and we're still favored number 1 in the entire Sun Belt.
Like Bucknell, that's going to be a push. That's easy. Troy,
We're gonna beat Virginia,
that
no
won't
question.
be too hard. UVA is going to be easy.
We'll
Utah
smack
State
Coastal.
might be
No, I think we'll beat App State again.
Utah State, not
I see that as a close game,
No.
though.
Utah
think-
State's pretty bad. Utah State's pretty bad.
Yeah.
South Alabama,
South Alabama's good. Were they
Georgia
good last
State.
year?
Marshall
Troy
will be easy.
Georgia State's good. You know how I know? Ask how I know, guys, that Georgia
How do you
State's
know?
good.
How do you know, Corbin?
Oh,
No, it's Georgia
because
Southern, not Georgia State. We're playing.
was it Georgia Southern? I thought Georgia Southern beat Florida and Georgia State.
No,
beat-
Georgia. No, it's Georgia. Well, Georgia Southern at home, and then we have Georgia State.
Yeah.
Later,
We lost
Oh.
to Georgia Southern last year,
yes.
but that was a horrible.
That was on
Anywho.
the technicality. And
Still came out on top.
Not to like
Whatever.
run on this too long because I mean it is one team in a lesser conference. I understand.
But it's like
But-
okay,
Where it
biggest,
doesn't.
biggest thing: UConn, App State, Coastal. Last 3 games.
JMU has a chance to go undefeated and not
They
play in a
still win the
conference
division.
championship or in a bowl game, and I think that's completely unfair and wrong. I think if you're good
Give
enough,
us game day.
and it's not like they transferred from like a Power 5 down to a Group of 5. They transferred from FCS to a Group of 5. If
Which
it's
we
That's
were
why we're
undefeated
on this
back then, too.
probationary
And
period.
you're going to short them when they were
It's just-
actually ranked last year in the top 25 in the country.
It's just stupid. I don't understand it. I also don't understand a lot of things the NCAA does. Like the NIL is just wild, wild west. So Big Ten is probably the least interesting conference this year, I would say. There are only 3 big
Big 12.
teams. Big 10 is the least interesting conference. Big 12 is Kansas State, Baylor, Texas, Oklahoma. I mean,
I think
What do you-
the Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan is way more compelling than whatever goes down in the Big 12.
I will agree to disagree because I find the Big Ten boring because
Yeah,
I
but
don't
I think
like
you're
Ohio
not, I
State
think
or
you're
Michigan.
you can limit the Big Ten to 3 teams, and you just
Yeah.
name.
And
We
I mean,
know-
that's it.
We know one of those 3 teams is going to win it. Okay.
Wisconsin's not going to be great. Nebraska's no, actually. Who'd Nebraska get? Nebraska got he was fired from Carolina. Coach the last year. Shoot. He turned Temple around. Remember, he turned a lot of programs around. So Nebraska might be a good team, might be a fringe team in the Big Ten, at least competitive for the first time in forever. Rutgers, I think Rutgers goes undefeated and runs the table. So I think we see a surprise out of the Big Ten from Rutgers. Dennis
Seems
is
a little hot, but I like it.
I'm definitely lying. There's no chance
Okay.
Rutgers wins more than 2 games.
I was like, where are you going with this, buddy?
But no, that's my problem with the Big Ten. It's a 3-man conference, which is still
UND?
better than
College Park.
Maryland. They actually that Ohio State game was a lot. Me and Dennis watched it last year. That Ohio State game was a lot closer. So I mean, it's 4-team race. I mean, it's kind of a 4-team race in the Big 12 too. Colorado coming over to the Big 12 after Texas and Oklahoma leave, so that could be
West
pretty
Virginia
interesting.
could be interesting in the Big Ten.
West
I didn't
Virginia,
think about that.
they've been
No.
bad for a few years, but just to see
And
them
they're
be
going to still be
competitive.
bad.
No, they'll
They
be
might
bad,
win
but
2
it'll be
games this year.
interesting at least.
So we hit ACC, we hit the place where it just matters more, the only college football conference that matters. We hit, there's not much to talk about in the Big Ten. James Franklin returns. Ryan Day is not really on the hot seat. We were calling for his job at the end of season 1, but I don't.
Season 2.
Huh?
And season 2.
Oh, you think Ryan Day's on the hot seat
I know.
going into this
If
fall?
Hardball wasn't on the hot seat after Ohio State handing him his ass the first 6 years in a row, I don't think Ryan Day will be on the hot seat anytime.
I think Ryan Day has only lost 2 Big Ten games. in
The
his career.
expectation is higher for Ryan Day, though.
That is true. Ohio State has been more successful for a longer period of time than Michigan.
I said,
Yeah, but Michigan actually has that rivalry.
In the
And it's
last 25
Not all
years,
that close.
2 of the 4 teams that beat or that won national championships outside of the South, 2 of those 4 teams were Ohio State.
True.
Like, there is an
And the other
expectation
2
that
would just
Ohio State
Clemson.
wins,
Yeah.
that Ohio State competes for national championships.
Mhm. No, I agree. I definitely Ohio State. I think Ryan Day had coming into the job had higher expectations than Harbaugh did. And I think he continues to have higher expectations because Ohio State, like you said, has been in the national championship game and they expect national championships, while Michigan has not been. They weren't relevant for like 10 years before Harbaugh got there. And then now this is the first time they've even made the playoffs.
But what's the one thing that as a coach from Michigan you have to do?
Beat Ohio State.
I don't know, wear
Exactly.
khakis.
No,
Yeah.
I like the khakis.
Wear
I like the
khakis.
khakis, man. The khakis are fire.
But,
Okay.
like, if you don't do that in
Old-fashioned
your
statement.
first 6 years, and let's be honest, 4 out of those 6 years the games weren't even remotely close.
He should have been on the hot seat a long time. It's just because his name is Harbaugh. That's the only reason
Yeah.
he was still there.
But then he figured it out. I mean, Michigan plays a brand of football that competes with Ohio State, and now we're seeing Harbaugh's not on the hot seat anymore. He's considered one of the best coaches in college football.
But you can't say that the expectations were higher for Day than they were for Harbaugh. I mean, when Harbaugh got there, Michigan thought they were going to win every national championship.
But Michigan hadn't been good for a long time.
Yeah,
like
I
Ohio
I know,
State,
but I'm saying,
saying-
everyone when he went there, everyone thought it was the second coming of Jesus.
that is true. No, I mean you're right. But I don't think the expectations of winning national championships is the same at Michigan as it is at Ohio State.
It's
Oh,
not.
but no, it's not. It's not.
But is it amplified at Ohio State because you have Urban Meyer? A
Yeah,
national
absolutely. I mean-
championship coach.
Well, I think it's amplified because it's
It's
The
Ohio
Ohio
State.
State.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ohio
yeah.
State's been. I mean,
Or
But
you can get
you
sued
go
if we
from
talk about
Jim
Urban Meyer in a
Tressel,
bad way.
that's
who was
just
a
how
phenomenal coach.
no, I think it was hilarious. We trashed Urban Meyer last year too.
Yeah, he needs to go home.
One of the greatest college football coaches of all time.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of
Oh,
the
And he
worst,
knew how to party.
if not the worst, NFL coach. of all
NFL
time.
coach.
So,
Yeah.
man, 2 sides of that coin. But real quick, speaking of hot seats, because I think there's another guy, and Grant, I've been going to bat for them this whole pod so far, but I think there's another guy that we need to talk about, Steve Sarkisian.
Oh,
I
I
think
think
he-
he's out this year.
You think he's out after this year? He's
Unless
on a
they're
very
in the
hot
play-
seat.
Unless they're in the playoff, he's out.
So you're saying playoff or fired? You're saying playoff or he's out?
I would say so, dude. And I mean, maybe if he gets a New Year's Six bowl.
Dude, but the recruits he's bringing in, do you really fire a guy that's bringing in Malik Murphy, Arch Manning, Quinn Ewers, these 5-star guys that he continues to bring in? And I mean, you guys know Steve Sarkisian's the head coach of Texas, right?
Well, yeah. But
Okay,
so
okay.
Texas is like another one of those Ohio State-esque programs, right? Where like the expectation is competing for national championships.
When Texas hasn't been relevant though for the last.
No, that's what I'm saying. But like
Yeah.
they're going to this new conference next year. They're going to where football means more.
But do you fire him after 1 year after bringing in Arch Manning?
That's what I'm saying. Do you fire him 1 year after
I
bringing
think
him?
you
And do
gotta
you
give
fire?
him
Do you go a
at
new head
least a
coach
year.
coming? Yeah, and do you go new head coach coming into the SEC?
I think you do.
That's a hot take. I think that one's got a little spice to it. You put a little.
I think if it's not at least a New Year's Six bowl game, then I think
I
they
get behind that. I think if
seriously consider.
I think they consider. I don't think they.
If they don't finish top 12 at the minimum, I think he's gone at the minimum. So like they need to finish top 12, or Steve Sark is probably Sarkisian's gone. Nate, you got any opinions on Sarky down in Texas?
I don't personally.
Okay, that's it.
What about Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss?
Lane Kiffin might be on the hot seat, dude.
I don't know.
I'm not saying hot seat, but they got to do something before he is.
But how are they
I
going to
mean,
do anything?
They were really good last year. You know, they
in
went
spurts.
Yeah, what were they in that LSU game? They went to Baton Rouge. They were up like 24-7 going into half. They were undefeated to that point in the season. And then I don't know what happened exactly. Something about
Lane Kiffin happened.
44-24 final in favor of LSU. Like, I don't know how that happened. I'm glad it did.
You know what's crazy? I remember like a 41-14 game happened in Death Valley last year too. That's crazy. I don't know who would have beat LSU at Death Valley in a noon game where they were undefeated, 41-14, and then they took over the stadium and were singing their fight song. What kind of team would do that? I have no idea. I can't remember.
Remember,
you'll always be on sweet home to me.
anyways,
what
what about Jimbo? Jimbo down in College Station.
Oh, Jimbo absolutely is on the hot seat.
Yeah,
I think
Jimbo's
he's out.
gone. If they don't win more than
Gone.
if they don't finish top 15, he's gone. 100%.
Dude, I'm kind of thinking. I just had the idea a few minutes ago. What about Jimbo to UT?
Like
No.
Texas?
No, I don't
Not
see it.
the UT.
No
but
chance.
Texas.
Yeah, I was gonna say watch your language there, Dennis. You know the real UT.
No,
So.
there's no way that I don't see it even being the
some
shot in the
offensive
dark.
coordinator will quit and go there before they pick him up.
Just a thought.
It'd be a good thought, and I think he'd have more success at Texas than he would at A&M. But
I do too. People
I
just
don't think
really
Texas.
play it.
I don't think the AD at Texas is going to want to hire a head coach out of A&M. Just as simple
I don't
as that.
either. I don't either. I agree.
I'm just
Joe.
saying it would be an interesting thought.
Especially since Texas is going to be in the SEC too. So you're going SEC to SEC.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
going
know, I don't
in-state
think it would.
rivalry. I mean, it's the whole thing.
Yeah. I will say, okay, I kind of want to segue over just because I want to hit the pack real quick. So the pack is blowing up. I don't know who's going to be in there after this year because Colorado's leaving,
Yeah.
Utah's leaving. Isn't Utah leaving? Oregon's leaving. UCLA is leaving, I think.
Yeah, UCLA and
USC are leaving.
are going to the Big Ten.
Okay.
Colorado and I think Utah are going to the Big 12 with Houston and SMU.
Yeah.
Well, isn't San Diego State going to try to follow Colorado or something like that?
I just know the conference is blown up. So I don't know what happens to the pack
Right when they
after
get
this
relevant
year.
again.
Yeah, I know. This is the first time the pack has been relevant and like worth watching. And we're talking about in years. Everybody makes fun of pack football. They know it's not real football. And now we have Lincoln Riley who comes in and the whole landscape has changed. I mean, USC is relevant again and UCLA is relevant again. Chip Kelly came in and has changed UCLA around. They had DTR and that made UCLA like a team to be reckoned with. And Utah's been
Coach Primetime in Colorado. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Does anybody know if his surgery actually was successful?
I mean, he's not dead, but
like, is he going to be on the field in like 2 weeks? Does anybody actually know?
I hope so. I mean, they need him. They need him out there.
Like, we haven't heard word one other than like, dude had.
He could be sitting in an office somewhere, and that the culture would still be 10 times different there at Colorado.
Yeah,
he could just be laying in a hospital bed, and that culture there would be night and day from what it used to be. And he would still be a relevant team.
How
Colorado
get them to
now
play?
was Mountain West. Like
Yeah.
Okay, they played in the Pac-12, but it was a Mountain West team. You know what I mean?
Colorado has expectations that are far too high.
Yeah.
For what they're going into. A 3-win season for Colorado is an improvement. They were the worst team in college football by a significant margin last year. They had their average margin of loss was like 15, 20 points. And like the next closest team was like, no. Their average like margin of loss was like 28 points. The next closest team was like 12. So like Colorado's expectations should be a 3-win season, and that's a success for Dion. And the expectations right now are
they
them
will
to make
have
a
a
bowl
higher.
game.
They will have more than 3 wins.
Oh,
You
yeah.
think so?
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
I mean, definitely after next year when they go to play in the Big 12. Like the Big 12 is a great move for Prime. Like
yeah,
that
absolutely.
program's going to look a lot better in the Big 12 than in the Pac-12. But
Utah is going to look insane in the Big 12. I bet Utah goes in without a Texas or Oklahoma there, and Utah starts molly-whopping teams in the Big 12. They play the
like
SEC.
they have SEC defense.
Yeah, they're an SEC team in the West. They're the SEC team in the West. Obviously, they don't get the SEC recruits or like the size the SEC has, but they're run like an SEC program in the West.
But somehow they recruit freaking every individual that knows how to play football from like the Pacific Islands. Like,
Oh, dude.
they got some dogs on that team.
They do. They got them. They got warriors. That's what I like. Those
Literally.
boys are warriors. All right. So we've talked a lot of college football. Talked a lot about the teams, the conferences, the coaches, hot seats, Heisman favorites, who's going to be there, who's not. So real quick, I guess I want to do, because it's way too early, just like the way too early top 25. Everybody real quick, get their 4 teams for the playoffs, who they think is going to make it in this last one. And then we will, if there's anything else we want to hit on, just shout it out and we'll jump on that topic. Everybody, does that work?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. Anybody want to go first with their 4 picks for college football playoff? Joe, I see you shaking your head no, so I'm not going to choose you. Nate is also shaking his head no, so I'm hoping with all those muscles you can push a lot of blood to your brain, flex it up real quick, and come up with some picks. Dennis, I know you're itching at the seat. Yeah. Chewy, go first?
I'll go first. Yeah.
Okay. All right,
I'll
Chewy.
go
Give us your top 4.
I'm gonna take Georgia.
Trash. Sorry.
Terrible.
Sorry.
I was literally gonna get to my other 3, but appreciate that.
Okay. Sorry. Rocky Top.
I'm gonna go Georgia,
USC,
USC,
to me.
Tennessee, and either Michigan or Ohio State.
You think Georgia beats Tennessee? Georgia wins the SEC championship, and Tennessee only has 1 loss.
I think it's possible. Yeah.
I can get behind that.
I think
We'll drop a game.
Tennessee's the only thing that might stop Georgia, but the only reason I say might is because of how late that game is.
Yeah.
If
We're-
Kirby gets them going,
Mhm.
and they're firing on all cylinders, I say Georgia wins it all. Tennessee still gets in with a 1 loss.
If Georgia wins out and Tennessee's only losses to Georgia, like just like this past season,
They're
where
going to go in. They're
if
going to
we
go
didn't
in at
drop
4.
yeah, but we'll drop a game because it's just what Tennessee does every year. But all right, Joe, Nate, either one of you ready with your 4 yet? Dennis, are
All
you
right, so
okay? Joe, Joe.
I know
Oh,
for
Joe.
a fact Michigan and a USC. That's
Okay,
what
I
I'm
like it.
going. The SEC it's too wild and crazy right now because we just have no idea what Alabama or Georgia are going to do. I'm not saying Alabama really has a chance, but you never know with Saban. I'm leaning towards Georgia getting in again this year, and I don't like it necessarily. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But I would love to see LSU and Tennessee in there again. I mean, in there fighting each other or something.
I like the way you think, Joey. I like the way you think. Nate, do you have?
I mean, don't have any, solid, it's still a little early for any solid predictions or anything. But, and like Joe said, the SEC is wide open, but there's a lot of teams that I do like within the SEC in terms of college football playoffs. One being Georgia. I do think Georgia makes a run into the playoffs. I really do see that happening. Dennis smirking over there. He doesn't like it, but
Neither one
I
of us like it.
I really think
No,
that,
no,
like as I
be
said earlier, I
strong.
think
Be strong
that's
in your
gonna be.
takes. I like it. I like it.
I'm saying I
Be strong.
think I have a strong feeling that they're gonna make a run for the money. That being said, and you boys might like their other two other picks, and they're not picks, but more like it's so out there. But like I would give, I'd give LSU a chance, and I'd also give Tennessee a chance as well, as I think, after seeing the year that Tennessee had last year, I think I would not be surprised if I see them in the college playoffs. And I think that, LSU can also make a run. Um, in terms of a fourth pick, just going off of last year and how like everything went down, I might say Michigan. I think Michigan could make a comeback. Now I don't know how JJ McCarthy's going to do, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, last year they seen, it was a little ticky-tacky here and there, but I think they're all, there's good things coming those teams' ways, Like I said earlier, it's still very hard to, to make a solid prediction yet, but in the coming weeks and see how things start after like week 1, week 2, like you can starting to piece things together, I think.
I like it. I like it. I agree. Dude, that's what I love about this season, man. There's just we just don't know. That's the first time in college football in the last 10 years we don't know who's going to be there at the end, and there's so much that could happen. Dennis, you want me to go, or do you want to go?
I can take it first.
Okay, because you know what it means to us.
So I think early in the
You were
season,
supposed to say it
maybe
means more, but
maybe at
whatever.
that week 10 mark or the week 11 mark, I think Georgia drops one to a non-conference opponent. Unforeseen. No one sees it coming. They drop one to a non-conference opponent. And then play undefeated Tennessee in November and barely squeak out a win, like a 1 point. Like
Boo.
off of a missed, wait for it, like off of a missed extra point. So
That would
this
be
one
Tennessee's
loss conference or division champ, Georgia, goes to play undefeated LSU in the SEC championship. LSU gives it to them because we want revenge from last year. Give it to them. I think Tennessee makes it in with their one loss being to Georgia. They just got their break speed off. I think USC sneaks in there. As much crap as I was just talking about USC, realistically, they can probably make it in there. They won't win, but they'll make it in there. For the third year in a row, I think Michigan makes the college football playoff. And then number 1, of course, we got LSU Tigers, baby.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Brian Kelly. Remember when we were calling for his job at the beginning of last season? What a time to be alive.
Yeah, assuming we beat Florida State.
Dennis called me in tears. He was like, "I'm over it, man. Brian Kelly needs to get fired immediately." And I was on that train. I was on that train too. All right. So that's your top 4, si senor? All right. My top 4. I think Tennessee is a wild card right now because we have the biggest arm in college football at quarterback, but can he throw the ball accurately downfield, short game? I don't know. I'm going to think that he is, though. So I got Tennessee going undefeated, beating an unbeaten LSU in an SEC championship game. I think Tennessee and LSU both undefeated going into the SEC championship game. I think Tennessee wins. They go number 1 seed, LSU at the 4 seed. They have a rematch in the semifinals. Unless we see something weird happen with either a 1-loss USC conference championship team, but I think USC is going to be there, and I think Ohio State beats Michigan this year. I think Ohio. Do I see Florida State? Here we go, boys. This is where I go a little off the rails. I think Michigan drops one, maybe, like Joe said, in those first 4 games. I doubt they do, but Jim Harbaugh's going to be gone. Maybe Michigan drops one. So you got a 1-loss Michigan going into the game. I think Ohio State's not going to be as dominant. I think they have a 1 or 2 loss going into the game. So then you have a 1 or 2 loss Big Ten champion. I think Florida State goes undefeated in the ACC. And I think you take the 1-loss Pac champ, you take the 1-loss or the no-loss ACC champ, you take the 1-loss
How can you have
LSU,
you have a no-loss LSU and a no-loss
No. The one loss LSU and the no loss Tennessee. So I got Tennessee, LSU, USC, and FSU.
You said FSU. We
Dennis,
played week 1.
Corbin, I'm trying to follow your prediction here, and it just looks like wires
Yeah, I
on
was
a
wrong. I
freaking
forgot.
board just going like this.
Yeah. I forgot FSU played LSU at the beginning of the season.
But here's
Okay,
the thing with
I
too.
fix it. LSU beats Tennessee in the SEC championship game. You have a 1-loss LSU, you have a 1-loss Tennessee, you have a no-loss FSU, and you have you have a 1-loss FSU and you have a 1-loss USC. Right? Did I do that right?
But after
Man,
the last 2 years, does the committee put in somebody like FSU who is going to get the absolute pants beat off of them?
Not if
You
they
are
beat
so
an LSU.
dumb.
Not if
But
they
you
beat
are
LSU.
so dumb.
We don't need another
Florida
TCU.
State is going to be the best team in the ACC.
And I think by a wide margin.
Yeah.
Why do we want to watch another TCU?
I
Because
definitely didn't math
TCU
that correctly.
beat Michigan.
So
And it's not watching another TCU. Florida State is a legitimately good program. It's not going to be a fluke if they
until
win.
they play
game.
an SEC team where football is different.
Just means more.
But Florida State is also in the South,
You
to be
can't-
completely
I'm
honest.
sorry, you can't go in and play an SEC team and expect to win.
I don't know. Florida State got some big balls.
Florida State,
and
if
some
they get
big
their
athletes.
Real quarterback. They have a real quarterback.
asses beat, and it's not going to be funny.
Okay, my math was totally wrong. All right, hear me out. So LSU,
We got to do this.
as many times as it takes for me to get it right. LSU beats FSU. FSU is 1 loss. They make it to the playoff. USC drops 1 to Utah or something like they usually do. They make it to the playoff. Tennessee is unbeaten
This hurts me to watch.
going into
Are
the
you going to
SEC
take
championship
FSU a
game.
one
the
loss
wheels are
at
turning.
FSU, or are you going to take a 1-loss?
I've completely lost
taking a
everything,
one-loss
boys. I'm just
Corbin,
I'm taking LSU,
Just win it
Tennessee, FSU.
In
Forget the
and-
math. Just pick
Are you
4
going to write
teams.
this out on the screen so
Oh.
everyone can understand what your brain is going through right now?
If
At
I
this point, it's 15.
take
Can we
the
just
time
cut out the
and-
last 5 minutes of him trying to figure this out? What are your top 4, Corbin?
And we're back.
FSU, LSU, Tennessee, USC. And by USC, I mean University of South Carolina, baby. Gamecocks on top. No, I definitely mean
there wasn't a UNC week 1.
University of Southern California. That was embarrassing. I wish I knew how to edit better so I could cut off some of that, but I don't. So everybody's going to get that unedited version.
Send it to
Uncut.
Storm.
Send it to Storm. Walter. All right. That's all I got for college football on this podcast. If there's anything anybody else would like to cover, speak now or forever rest your laurels. Hold your peace.
until
What
next
is it?
week.
Rest.
I guess.
What
for
is it
me,
when you say at weddings?
Speak now or hold your peace.
Is it hold it?
Hold it.
I guess for me,
Hold it.
can Tennessee capitalize on 22.8 points per game this year?
Nate got it.
Can
Nate,
they
Nate
minimize
got
that even more?
it. Nate got it. Nobody else got it, but Nate did.
Did I miss
Sorry,
something?
Chewy. Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
must have
Yeah.
missed
Yeah.
something.
Oh yeah. Nate saw it though. All right. Chewy, sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there. It's just I saw Nate geeking and I had to
Proceed.
proceed.
I guess for me, Tennessee allowed 22.8 points a game last year.
Embarrassing.
I want to see if they can make that even better. Can you hold them to 3 touchdowns?
I don't know. And that's the big question. One,
should.
is Joe Milton going to be able to accurately distribute the ball? Because we have the receiving core to do it. We have the running back, core to be legit. We have the offensive line. It's just, can Joe Milton be accurate to score the same amount of points that Hendon Hooker was able to? And then our defense was just a liability last year. I remember a lot of people going in that Georgia game saying, oh, this is the LSU season for Tennessee. This is the LSU season for Tennessee. The big difference is LSU's defense got it done when it mattered. Tennessee's defense couldn't stop a punch through a wet paper towel. I mean, it was like watching, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a train running past. Nope, can't say that on YouTube. So it was just bad. It was bad. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Our defense is absolutely a liability. Hopefully, Heupel, and immortality, Tennessee immortality, his name will reign. Hopefully, we can figure out the defense. So, Anything else? Anything else? Any intricacies? All right. NFL is going to be the next podcast. So check in for that one. We will hit on quite a few things. What is going on with the NFC? The Eagles have pretty much an unbridled path to the NFC Championship game. Maybe the Super Bowl. I mean, the 49ers, Seahawks might get them, but the AFC, my Lord, what a gauntlet. So we will talk about that next week. There's a few things we'll talk about as well. Quarterback tiers, I'm sure. So check in for that pod. Thank you for joining with us tonight, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.